Hey Fragrance family, I'm David and I'm a fragrance bro. Welcome to day 25 of Rose Month. And today I have Dirty Rose by PK Perfumes. Now PK Perfumes is an independent perfume house by perfumer Paul Kyler. And there's not a lot of buzz on YouTube about him. I think I have seen some on Facebook. I think he's relatively new. And he's already won some awards from his line. He actually sent us most of or all of samples from his line, and they're really good. Now there's a little bit of a story behind this perfume. Paul Kyler had a client and he wanted to wear this like the dirtiest, most animalic, muskiest scent that called Musk Gazelle. Just from the name alone. It's really strong apparently. So they talked about cutting it with a fresh rose note in it. And this was kind of his first draft, and he brought it to the client, and apparently it was so perfect in their noses at that time that they just stopped right there. So this is what it is. It is very musky, and it does have some rose in there. It's pretty animalic, I have to say. It is pretty animalic. But I don't want to say it's not animalic in a bad way. This is, I think, more of a wearable animalic scent. I know there are people out there who really like oud and really like maybe leather oud from Dior, and notes that have a lot of civet and things like that. There's some, you know, pretty funky smelling perfumes out there and perfume lovers out there. And this is definitely in that vein. It is very musky. And when I say musky, I do not mean like the dryer sheets, white musk, clean smell. I mean this in a more animalic, leathery, dirty type of way. But that being said, it is not, like a lot of times these animalic scents can be fecal. And this isn't that. This kind of has almost a burnt rubber type smell, a little bit, like faintly burnt rubber. And it does smell very dense, but it does still have that rose, and the rose does cut it a little bit, and it kind of gives a little bit of freshness to it, and there's almost like a zinginess to it, like almost like a citrus note or something in there, but I don't believe that's in there. But there's this zing to it that cuts it better there too. Performance on this is great. I mean, with these type of musks, they last a long time. And but my wife, she did not like this. She thought it smelled like bug spray and couldn't stand it. So that's a big downside. The interesting thing with fragrances that have a lot of musk in them is musk is one of the heavier molecules, and it's harder for our noses to smell. So there are certain musks that some people are anosmic to and cannot smell. So there's an interesting thing that Smellbent actually did with musks, and they have, like, I think they call it fragrancefamily, and they had different type of musks for the different versions of fragrancefamily, so you could smell what these are like. And some of them you could barely smell at all because they're so heavy, and for your nose they're really hard to smell. So I'm wondering sometimes when I smell these really dense musky smells if I am anosmic to these type of smells, and if I am actually getting the entire fragrance here, or if I'm only getting a sliver of it. And I don't know. And I think that's interesting in a way, and terrifying in a way. So as the name implies, it is a very dirty rose, but it's not dirty in the traditional sense that we are used to in smelling these traditional perfumes. This is dirty in a very animalic way. But at the same time, I think it's worth smelling just because I think it is more wearable than some of those animalic scents. So if you have the chance, go to PK Perfumes website. I believe it's just pkperfumes.com, or just Google it and see what you find, and order some samples because I think there's some things in there that you will like. And try this and see what you think. I'll see you tomorrow.